Hello my Banda crew and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be me discussing the franchises that I think would be most likely to cross over with Crash in the new game Crash Team Rumble. If this is your first time coming to the channel, I release Crash Bandicoot content every weekend. We discuss lore, theories, news, tier lists. We also do interviews, and I've been working on a Crash Bandicoot iceberg that should be coming out in the next couple weeks. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, maybe consider subscribing to the channel. With that all said, let's jump back into the topic at hand and cover the top 5 franchises that I think would cross over with Crash Bandicoot and Crash Team Rumble. So for my picks, I wasn't doing picks that I thought I would like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if Jak and Daxter crossed over with Crash, or, oh, how about Ratchet and Clank? I wasn't picking things like that would happen in my wildest dreams. I tried to stick it to reality, so, I looked through all the franchises that Microsoft owns, and I picked my top 5 of those franchises that I think would work well in the Crash Bandicoot series. So Ty the Tasmanian Tiger and KO the Kangaroo are not going to be in my top 5 picks, but I didn't want to actually use any of my picks in the thumbnail because it would have spoiled the video. So now that that's out of the way, we're going to pick my top 5 Microsoft-owned video game franchises to cross over with Crash Bandicoot. So here is my number 1 pick. My number 1 pick is BanjoKazooie. Microsoft owns BanjoKazooie now. They showed up in Smash Bros. Brawl, but they're still owned by Microsoft. So with all Banjo's transforming abilities and all of the different abilities that Kazooie can do, she could be like, you could shoot the gun with the eggs, and you could flip over and run with her legs as in the backpack. And like I said, there's the transforming techniques. And he's just a platformer. He fits really well with Crash. So my number 1 pick would be Banjo and Kazooie. And, you could add some locations from Banjo and Kazooie into Crash Team Rumble, and I think it would work well too. Overall, I think this is a great pick from what we have allowed to us in the Microsoft catalog. And now we're going to move on to my second pick. Microsoft doesn't have many platformers under their belt, but Blinx the Time Sweeper, he only had 2 games, and he didn't really even appear in the second game. But I thought that Blinx would work really well, considering we have Tropy and Femtropy. So we already have characters that work with time travel. So it would be neat to bring Blinx in there. Like I said, he's not a well-known franchise. Some of you guys might not even know who Blinx is, because he's only had 2 games. And like I said, he was only really in the first game. The second game, you had customizable characters. I believe he was just in a cutscene or 2. But Blinx would work well. He has time-stopping, time-rewinding powers. And he's a cute anthropomorphic cat character who would really fit in well with the other anthro characters in Crash Bandicoot, I believe. And if you're looking for lore-wise or story-wise, clearly all of these characters like Banjo and Kazooie, they're not created by Cortex. I don't want to say they're like Cortex commandos or something. They would just open up a portal in the sky and they would travel from their universe to Crash Bandicoot's universe. So that's my number 2 pick. And now we're going to go to number 3. Battletoads. Battletoads is my number 3 pick. Honestly, I haven't played Battletoads in many, many years. I didn't play this new reboot series. I watched the cartoon a long time ago, and I played some of the platforming, like when you ram at someone, you turn into a big ram, or when you kick someone, you turn into a giant boot. So it was like a beat 'em up series, as well as a platformer. I'm sure there's all sorts of different continuities with these guys, because the cartoon show, if I remember correctly, it was three boys, high school boys, that transformed into the Toads. But again, like I said, all you have to do is open up a portal in the sky, and the guest stars can come through the portal and battle Crash and company. So that was my number 3 pick. So now we're going to move on to my number 4 pick. Pick number 4 absolutely has to be Conker from Conker's Bad Fur Day. He was also in Diddy Kong Racing, and he had his own Game Boy game. I don't remember the name of that one. I never played that one. But the one that I always played was on N64, Conker's Bad Fur Day. They had the Xbox remake of it, and I think there was another instance where they used the Conker IP. I've never played it, but I think it was a game where you designed other games, and Conker was just thrown in there, kind of how like Spyro was tossed into the Skylander series. They just plastered an IP on it and tried to make more sales. But yeah, Conker, he's a foul-mouthed squirrel. He has all sorts of weaponry. He has all sorts of different techniques and moves that he can do. And I think that Conker would fit very well in a big beat-em-up style game like Crash Team Rumble. So that was 4 picks of Microsoft-owned franchises. So now we're going to dive into my last pick for a crossover with Crash Team Rumble. You thought you could escape Microsoft's biggest franchise, did you? No. Halo. Halo, I think, while it wouldn't be like a perfect fit, I believe it's iconic enough that it could bring itself over to the Crash series. Of course, Master Chief would have to be like this chibi style, so I used the Funko Pop just as a reference picture, because I wouldn't want a big, bulky Marine guy running around. I would like it to be a little chibi style Master Chief. And as you know, Master Chief has tons of weaponry, he has tons of vehicles. I think Master Chief co-starring in a Crash Bandicoot game would be wild to think about. Years and years ago, if you told yourself back in 2000, oh, Master Chief's gonna cross over with Crash Bandicoot. No, my mistake. 2001 was when Halo came out. So if you told yourself back in 2001, oh yeah, there's gonna be a game where Master Chief interacts with Crash Bandicoot, I don't think you'd ever believe it. So that was my 5 picks for potential series to cross over with Crash Bandicoot. Like I said at the start of the video, I was picking from the Microsoft catalog that they already had franchises. Because I think that's the most likely way that we would get a crossover. It would have to be a franchise that's already owned by Microsoft, so they could easily cross over and not have to go and pay this other company. Like, we've seen KO the Kangaroo's Twitter page going crazy trying to get interest brought up about it on Twitter. It's trying to make a name for itself and get included in Crash Team Rumble, which I don't really see happening. But I can't tell the future. Who knows? It might end up happening. But my top 5 picks were Master Chief, Conker, the Battletoads, Blinks, and lastly, BanjoKazooie. So, Bandicrew, let me know who you think out of my list has the highest chance of crossing over with Crash on Crash Team Rumble. And let me know in the comment section who you would pick to join in the Crash Team Rumble. The only thing I ask is try and keep it a Microsoft series, because if you say something like, oh, I want Mickey Mouse in there, or oh, I want Bugs Bunny, that stuff's not really going to fly, and I doubt it would ever happen. So that's the video, my Bandicrew. I hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next week. Have a good night.